What's up, guys? Tommy Paul here, TommyPaul.com. Today I'm going to be talking about a subject that is very actually near and dear to my heart, and that is saving money. And the reason why it's actually near and dear to me in a way is because I seriously suck at this. In fact, if you know me, the people that do know me are probably rolling around on the floor laughing just because of the fact that I even made this video, because I'm seriously that bad. That being said, I'd like to turn my mess into my message, and if I can save you some headache by learning from my mistakes, then I will have achieved my mission here. So here's 5 tips on how to save more money. And number 1 is switch to cash. Switch to cash. So make the switch from card to cash. And there's a lot of psychology behind this, okay? So unconsciously, your brain is going to have a harder time paying cash and trading in a physical item for something rather than just getting your card swiped and then getting it right back. So if you think about it, credit cards really, on a subconscious level, take away reciprocal altruism altogether in your brain. So because, obviously credit cards, debit cards, whatever, weren't even invented until the last probably like 20 years, maybe 25, 30 years, I don't know, something like that. 40 years at the most, probably not even that much. But before that, it was literally all trade. And that's really what money is. It's reciprocal altruism, it's trade for something else. And so your subconscious mind knows and is going to have a harder time trading in, cash for something and just swiping your money away just like that. So number 2 is automatic deductions. So this is something that I've actually been doing since college. My first week of college, I went off to college. I had no money. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just doing the dumb American thing and then freaking going and spending my money on doing some shit that I had no idea what it even was. I was just spending money. Typical, right? Well, I knew I at least had to start saving a little bit of money. So what I did was I went to my bank and I said, give me an account that'll take a certain amount of money out every single month and I can't even touch it. Unless I had to go through some sort of rigorous process or something like that. So I seriously freaking started out with $25. I started out with $25, and by the end of the first semester, I had over $1,000 saved, which is obviously peanuts to an adult for the most part, but at the time, that was actually more money than I'd ever had in my bank account at one time ever. So literally at age, probably like 18, at age 18, that was the first time I ever physically saw $1,000 or more in my bank account at one time. So it was definitely good for me at the time. And I ended up blowing all that money later anyway. So I don't know how, it's because I didn't really stick with it. So it can be a good long-term option. Now what I would recommend is doing the same exact thing, except putting it in the stock market, some sort of asset allocation fund or something like that, because those are actually even harder to get your money out. And smart investors know that it's actually more dumb to take your money out of the stock market. It's really more of a long-term game. I mean, at least when you're at a beginner stock level. So try this out. I'm telling you, this for sure works. It's worked for me. And if you're struggling to make, if you're struggling to make your rent every month, this is something that you have to do. You just got to do it. All right. So moving on. Number 3 is time value of an item. So what I mean by this is, if you see a shirt at the store, for example, and it's $50, how much time does it take you to earn that shirt? Now, if you're an entrepreneur, this probably doesn't apply to you. But most of you guys are probably still trading time for money. So if you're only making $10 an hour and you have to work 5 hours to buy that shirt, that's probably not a very good investment. I mean, this is on a little different subject. My mentor once told me, don't buy anything that rusts, rots, or depreciates until you have a good amount of expendable income, which is usually like 1/3 of your income. So once you pay for everything, all your living expenses, everything it costs to stay alive, and you can still save 1/3 and then blow 1/3, that is when you can buy RRD items, or items that rust, rot, or depreciate. But until then, seriously, invest in your brain and think about this. This definitely works for me. When I started doing this back in my manual labor days, and man, I started out probably $9-10 an hour landscaping, and I'd go to the mall and see shoes that are like, $300, and I'm like, man, seriously, I gotta work 30 hours. I gotta basically work a whole week almost just to pay for these shoes. So that'll give you a pretty good gauge on what is going on. Moving on to number 4 is monthly statements. So especially if you own a business, you already know about this, and you should be checking your bank accounts every single day, every single week, every single month. But even for an employee, if you look at your monthly statements and realize, like for me, for example, I realized, wow, I'm spending way too much money on eating out and little stuff like that. I never really bought a lot of big toys, shoes and stuff like that. It was all like eating out all the time, eating out every day. That kind of stuff certainly adds up for me. So look at that. And also there is actually an app I use. I'll write this down. I like this app a lot. The Mint app. The Mint app is freaking sweet, man, because it will actually break down all your expenses and tell you where most of your money is going from. So when I first downloaded that app, I remember this. It was hilarious. I had spent all my money for that month, basically. And I don't remember how much I made, but it was probably less than like $2,000. And this was a few years ago. Probably, let's say I made $2,000. I think it was right around $2,000, and I spent it all. And then I remember, so I had rent, which was probably only like $400, and then like the rest, $1,600, was freaking all food. Literally, it was all eating out. It was insane. And then I'm still really bad about eating out, to tell you the truth. I love food a lot. And I live in New York, and this is basically the food snob capital of the world. So it's certainly hard, and I get it, but at least it gave me a good gauge on where most of my money, my expendable income, the little expendable income that I had, was actually going. All right, now last one, and definitely most important, is make more money. All right, guys, I can't stress this enough. So this video was not your grandma's way of saving more money, okay? It was a modern way of saving money, a psychological way of saving money. I'm not talking about driving around to 15 grocery stores and wasting 5 hours of your life to find the best freaking deal on some chicken, okay? No, that's being penny wise and dollar foolish, because if you know anything about opportunity costs, you know that you're actually losing money by doing that, literally. You could have spent those 5 hours teaching yourself a skill, a craft, a trade, or whatever it is, or teaching yourself really just the language of money and how to make more money. So this one is obviously the most important, and it's obviously also probably one of the harder ones on the list. But when you make more money, you will have more money to save. It is literally that simple. And a lot of you guys probably follow Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone actually doesn't even recommend saving any money until you make $100,000 a year. And I have my own twists on that. I think everyone needs to find what works for them. But I think if you're in sales and you're an entrepreneur, that's probably pretty good advice, because so many people are wasting so much time being penny wise and dollar foolish by saving. But it's like you have nothing to save if you make $40,000 a year. Okay, you can't pour from an empty cup. Okay, it just doesn't work. Okay, so this one's pretty obvious. So monthly statements, go back to the cash flow quadrants with Robert Kiyosaki, and then figure out how you can make more money. That being said, I really hope that I could add value to your lives in some way. Please try this stuff out. It works. I've learned the hard way so that you don't have to. Okay. Also, a lot of credit to Practical Psychology. I just saw an interesting video. I got some of this information from there. I'm going to put a link below. Check out their video. They got a cool channel. I'm doing a video a day: fitness, fashion, finance, food, and fulfillment. If that sounds interesting to you, you can subscribe, hit the like button, share if you know someone else that would be interested in this kind of stuff. Thanks so much. I love y'all. I'll see you next time, all right?